Hi, it's Colin. Make sure to subscribe to the Volume YouTube channel so you don't miss any episodes. You know, like Eli Manning did.
Eli's late. Hey, we're on this interview. You calling in? What are you doing?
What?
We're on this interview.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I forgot about it.
You're killing me. You're killing me.
You've dated people in your life, perhaps married. You're both good people, and the fit eventually just doesn't work. You know that fit matters. You've worked at companies. You're talented enough. It's not a terrible company. The fit doesn't work. But yet, when I suggested that OBJ was just a bad fit with a young Baker Mayfield, I'm not blaming anybody. People thought it was a hot take. It's not a hot take. They don't fit. And the data suggests they have never fit. You know, I'll give you a great example. A show that most of us have watched, Saturday Night Live. Larry David, really a comedic genius, helps create Seinfeld, does create Curb Your Enthusiasm, two of the more iconic seminal comedy shows of my lifetime. He quit after a year on Saturday Night Live because he only got one sketch on the show. He was a bust. Robert Downey Jr. lasted a season. Sarah Silverman didn't work. Ben Stiller lasted 4 episodes. Yet there have been kind of hacky comedians who do impressions that are big hits on Saturday Night Live. You have to have the right comedic fit to work on that show. That's OBJ. OBJ was at the time he moved to Cleveland, was a big star. Supermodels in hotel rooms in Paris, New York Giants, houses in Hollywood. And I had talked to him. I remember where I was standing in Park City, Utah when he called me, and we talked during FaceTime. He didn't want to go to Cleveland. He had no interest in Cleveland. He had told me the places he was interested in, and then like 3 weeks later, he ended up in Cleveland. We just knew it just wasn't the right fit. Baker wasn't the right fit. And I'm always surprised when, you know, people bristle at that suggestion. We've all had relationships. We've all worked at companies. It just doesn't work. And for OBJ, it never, ever, ever. All the data tells you. Baker literally this year has a 50% completion rate when targeting OBJ and a 72 passer rating when targeting OBJ, the lowest of any receiver on the Browns roster. As Belichick says, it's not about collecting talent. It's about building a team. Got to have the guys work and fit together. So when the Rams go out and get Von Miller, they essentially won the trading deadline. And, you know, I think there's a lot of things at work here. And one of them that I think the Rams really feel good about not only their culture, but their conditioning and how they treat their players physiologically. So the sport is changing in football, right? It used to be the idea of getting married for the first time in your 40s was just ludicrous. You know, people got married in their 20s, early 20s. And then it was like, whoa, you waited till you were like 33 to get married? People now get married in their 40s. They live their lives. Ages change. People, 65 years old, you retired. In my industry, Vin Scully and Regis Philbin were in their late 70s and still, in my opinion, thriving on the air. Lawrence Taylor's the greatest defensive player ever. But Lawrence Taylor, the last 3 years in the NFL, there was a major drop-off. By 31, he was, to a large degree, not close to the same player. He retired at 34. But it's changed. First of all, teams don't hit during practice. Starters don't play in the preseason. The collisions for offensive players aren't nearly as punitive. Von Miller's 32. There's no 21, 22, 23-year-old college football players, especially when you're the Rams, and don't have a first-round pick. And you'll probably be drafting near the bottom of the second round. Tell me a college player at the bottom of the second round that's going to come in and play for the Rams, because that's where they draft now. And Von Miller's 32, barring a serious injury, could have 3 more years of high-quality football left. Ages change. Nutritional standards. Tom Brady, at 44 years old, They're doing studies this year on the velocity of his football and the release of it. It's faster than it was 20 years ago. That's the world we live in. The Miami Dolphins are taking some heat for allowing the Deshaun Watson trade rumors to go public, and in the process, perhaps damage Tua's confidence. Something to remember about this is that when you get into a negotiation with somebody, there's agents involved on both sides, there's players on both sides, there's owners, there's GMs. It's hard to keep things quiet. The leaks were never coming from the Miami Dolphins. They had nothing that they could have won with any of that information going public. The information was coming from Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. They were trying to create a larger market for Deshaun Watson. And so the Dolphins, I think, started understanding they were negotiating against themselves in the last 2 weeks, and that gave the Dolphins a lot more leverage. In fact, according to multiple reports, the Dolphins went from having to give up 3 or 4 first-round picks and 3 players to 3 first-round picks and just 2 players. Why? Because there was nobody else in the bidding. So the Texans for the last month have been trying to create a market for Deshaun Watson. How? Leak that the Dolphins are interested. Leak that Carolina is interested. So that's first. You can't blame the Dolphins because somebody else leaks a story. The second thing to realize is if Tua can't overcome rumors, he's not built to be a Super Bowl champion quarterback. If press clippings and rumors of other players coming to your team threatens you or erodes your confidence, you're not the guy. Okay? If anything, that sort of stuff should put a massive chip on the shoulder of Tua, who came from a profoundly dominant high school program, a profoundly dominant college program. It's been kind of easy in terms of supporting cast. He probably needs a little chip on his shoulder. This is the first time he hasn't had significantly better players around him, and his teammates did not vote him captain. So obviously, from a leadership standpoint, he's not clicking with teammates. Don't blame teams if stuff gets out. Agents love salaries and their clients on the market getting out. It drums up business.